All right, today we're going to flip the script on digital security. Instead of learning how to build walls, we're going to look at how to tear them down. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of cryptanalysis, that is, the art and science of breaking codes. So on one side, you've got cryptography. That's the science of making secret messages. Think of it like building this super complex, secure lock. But on the other side, you've got its shadow self, cryptanalysis. And that's the science of picking that lock, of finding all the hidden flaws and secrets inside. It is this endless cat-and-mouse game between the people who make codes and the people who break them. Now, in this high-stakes game, every single codebreaker starts with one fundamental, almost paranoid assumption. It's the golden rule that really shapes all of modern digital security.
And this is it. This quote, it's not some modern hacker mantra, you know? This is a principle that was formulated all the way back in 1883 by a guy named August Kirchhoff. It's called Kirchhoff's principle, and it is the absolute cornerstone of how we analyze security today.
So what does this actually mean? It means you have to design your security system, your digital lock, assuming the attacker knows everything about it. They know the algorithm, they know the programming language, they might even know the hardware it's running on. The only thing they don't know is that one little secret piece of information, the key. This leads to a fundamental truth in security. If your system relies on the secrecy of your method, you've already lost. Okay, so now that we understand the rules of engagement, let's open up the toolkit. A code breaker doesn't just have one method. They have a whole arsenal of attacks, and each one is suited to a different situation. First up, we've got the most common scenario. Just imagine you're listening in on an encrypted channel. You can see all this scrambled data flying by. That's what we call the ciphertext. But you have no idea what the original readable message, the plain text, actually says. This is a ciphertext-only attack. It's definitely the toughest position for an attacker to be in, but it's often the starting point. But what if you get a little more information? Imagine you intercept an encrypted email, but you have a really strong feeling it starts with a standard greeting, something like "Dear Sir" or "Madam." Well, now you have a piece of the original message, the plain text, and its matching encrypted version. This is a known plain text attack, and having these pairs can give you a massive leg up in figuring out the key.
But the most powerful position for an attacker, this is the one, the chosen plain text attack. Here, you don't just find a plain text/ciphertext pair. You actually get to create it. Imagine you've gotten temporary access to the encryption machine itself. You can feed it any message you want. Hello, attack, the secret password is, and just watch what scrambled ciphertext comes out the other side. Your goal isn't just to read one specific message. You're going for the ultimate prize, the key itself.
So the attacks we just talked about, they're considered classical cryptanalysis. But an attacker's strategy is usually much broader. It includes things like social engineering or attacking bad software implementations. But when all the clever tricks fail, there's one strategy left. It's the ultimate fallback, the brute force attack. So what happens when you just can't outsmart the lock? Well, you get a bigger hammer, a much, much bigger hammer. This is the brute force attack. It's simple, it's direct, and it's devastatingly powerful, if you have enough time. And that's the core idea, right? Forget being clever, forget looking for patterns. The question is, what if you just systematically tried every single possible key until one of them worked? Now, for a simple historical code like the affine cipher, which just mathematically shifts letters around, the number of possible keys is tiny. How tiny? Just 312. A modern laptop could check every single one of those keys in a fraction of a millisecond. It's completely trivial. But of course, we've moved way past simple ciphers. The encryption that secures your online banking, your private messages, your entire digital life, that's a whole different beast. So, how does a brute force attack fare against that? Just consider this. A 56-bit key, which used to be a common standard, could be cracked by a massive computer cluster in about 10 days. Not great. But look what happens when we jump to 128-bit. The time to crack it absolutely explodes to, well, over a billion years. This shows you the incredible power of exponential growth in cryptography, where every single extra bit basically doubles the total number of possible keys. A billion years. That number is so large it's almost meaningless. So what does this actually mean for our security in the real world? Have we finally created an unbreakable code? To put this in perspective, just think about this. If you could somehow harness the entire energy output of the sun for 1 year and turn it into a giant code-breaking computer, you could maybe crack a 157-bit key. And we commonly use keys that are even longer, like 256-bit. So from a pure brute force perspective, today's codes are, for all practical purposes, unbreakable.
So it seems like we're safe. The math says so. But the history of cryptography is just one long story of unbreakable codes getting broken. Today's brute force attacks are impossible against our modern ciphers. But what about tomorrow? What happens when a new mathematical shortcut is discovered or a completely new type of computer comes online? Yeah, the game between the code maker and the code breaker is far from over.